One suspect is still being hunted in this Belgian neighborhood, folks. In the past, I want to say about hour, we have heard explosions. Sounds possibly like what we call flashbang grenades by police. These are anti-terror units who captured Europe's most wanted man in the last hour and a half. Remember, Belgium is about 5 hours ahead, so it's about 8:30 at the moment. You have much of this neighborhood, which is heavily Muslim populated, under siege by police as they look for that second suspect. But that man being dragged into that car, that is Salah Abdeslam. He is Europe's most wanted, now captured alive. They shot him in the leg. They had point-blank range. They could have killed him. But earlier we had Robert Strang, who's former FBI, say, no, they wanted this guy alive. They want to milk him for information. And we now have this. This gives us an indication that it was definitely planned because they found that man's fingerprints on Tuesday. They planned the raid. They executed it perfectly. And now we have Belgium's prime minister tweeting this photo. And the photo shows French President François Hollande, along with the Belgian prime minister here, taking a call from President Barack Obama, who congratulated them on a job well done, getting that suspect and continuing to fight the war on terror. These suspects were the ones who put together teams that killed 130 people in Paris last November. We want to bring in, as we look at these pictures, Peter Brooks of the Heritage Foundation. He's the senior fellow on national security affairs. What does this capture really mean in the grand scheme when we're talking about battling terrorism?
Important. Hopefully we're going to get a lot of information out of this individual, but that's not clear it's going to happen. Now he's in law enforcement's hands. They're going to have to try to interrogate him, see what his network is. It's clear he decided not to leave the country or leave Europe and go back to Syria. So there's probably a network that was supporting him. Are there other attacks pending? That's obviously the most critical thing right now. And I think it also refocuses us on the fact that we are still in this war on terror. And earlier this year, the director of national intelligence told us that he believes that ISIS wants to conduct attacks in the United States. So I think it just refocuses us on what's really going on in the world beyond what our own domestic issues.
Peter, his brother was cornered by police several months ago, and his brother blew himself up. This guy did not do that. Does this infuriate ISIS, who now realizes the Belgian and French police have a captive and they can at least possibly glean some information out of him?
Well, they're probably concerned about it. We're not quite sure why his suicide vest, or what we believe was his suicide vest, didn't go off. Whether it was malfunctioned or he decided to, he had second thoughts about going forward with this attack. But the fact that he was involved with gunfire and this sort of activity with the Belgian police shows that he didn't want to be taken alive. So, I mean, the ISIS could also point him out as an important figure, an iconic figure, who undertook these attacks against the West. And they may lionize him. So we're going to have to see how they use it. But they could be concerned about the fact that he has information that ISIS would prefer that the West not get their hands on.
Well, too bad, because the Brussels anti-terror units pulled this off brilliantly, and possibly the French anti-terror units were a part of all of this. We do have these pictures coming in. Some of them are live, some of them are taped. But again, since it's about 8:30 p.m. East in Belgium, here are some of the earlier pictures. You can see them patrolling. This is the live picture right now as you see the police are guarding the entire area. He had a lot of relatives around this neighborhood, right? I mean, you can imagine that he must have had help.
Well, absolutely, and that's what you're going to want to know. What was his support network? I mean, I understand, as I recall, that he has a brother who was not part of the terrorist cell that tried to get him to turn himself in, but he didn't do that. But, yeah, you're going to want to know the extent of this network. You're going to want to roll them up. There could be other plots out there that are thinking about undertaking. So this is a critical time. This isn't just an arrest.
We just want people to know you're looking at a news conference involving the Prime Minister of Belgium and French President François Hollande, and they are speaking about the situation. We are going to be monitoring this. Brad, you want to pop this up a little bit, or do we just want to monitor it at the moment? Are they speaking? Okay, it's in French. Let's listen just a little bit, and I can try and translate.
Remercier nos forces de sécurité, les services de renseignement, les forces de police, les magistrats.
So security forces, forces of police, a team effort.
Un certain nombre de chefs de tendu, très chaleureusement. remercier nos forces de sécurité.
And in essence, he is thanking all of those who were involved in what is appearing to be a very successful raid. But again, it could still very much be underway as there is a possible second suspect. We want to thank Peter Brooks. We appreciate you joining us, giving us some real insight as to what happens next. And again, we can possibly take the suspect who was captured, and we shall see if they can get any information out of him. He missed his opportunity to blow himself up, as his previous brother did.